Hello and welcome to the final race of our TRS Season 6 week number 5. And I will explain this one. So this one's going to be for my stream POV. So what happened here is, again, I was really tired. I didn't want to do the commentaries for the races, but I still wanted to record them because I knew that they would get cheesed. I knew that the films would get cheesed. So I went through, I recorded the first 3. And then I decided I made a bad decision. I decided to lay on my bed and rest my eyes. And you all know how that goes. I love this start, by the way. You all know how that goes. So I decided to lay on my bed for a bit and rest my eyes, and that did not work out. Fell asleep for a few hours, woke back up, Xbox automatically turned off, and I was just like, great, films are gone, right? And yep, loaded it up. I was prepared. I was prepared to record the film at like 3 or 4 a.m. whenever I randomly got up. Yeah, they were already gone. So I was just like, yep, that's great. That's classic. Whatever. So that was annoying. That was unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Won't be a problem next week. On the bright side, I think my POV is actually a pretty good one to watch for this race. There's a lot of action from my perspective. So I honestly don't think you miss out on that much by being on my POV for this one. I'm in the center of a lot of it, so I think it'll be all right. So Detail off to a strong start and an early lead on this one, and I believe it's actually Armada chasing him down, and those were the 2 drivers that got away from that first lap cheese. Oh, Armada already eating a big collision right there. But yeah, they got away from that early cheese that we saw in that super tight rock earlier, where everybody kind of got stuck and lost a bunch of time. It looks like Detail and Armada were the ones to get away from that, so that obviously helped them out a lot early on. Detail already has a massive gap. That cheese definitely helped him out quite a bit, and unless he gets involved in a collision, he's going to be looking at a really strong run this race. Again, it's 100% going to need some collision cheese for it to bring anybody else back in it, because it just gave him such a good start. Speaking of collision cheese, I think Roman got collected right there. But yeah, I believe it is Detail, Armada, and then I think Slaunch 3rd right now. We got Turkey in front of us 4th. I'm in 5th, and then Opix behind us in 6th. But yeah, you can see Detail's already like halfway across the track from where we're at. It's honestly crazy how big the gap is already on freaking lap 4. Oh, and the collision, and it doesn't really affect him at all, but does cheese us. So. And that's not really what we're looking for, right? That's not really what most of the pack is looking for. We're hoping to cheese the lead, but did not work out for us that time. So the track, Dirty Mo Raceway, worked on this one the week of, and we did have a track on this map. I don't remember what this map is called. It's not a drift. The drift is the one with the platforms, but it starts with an A. It's not like Awaken or Awoke or something. I don't know. I don't remember what this track is called or what this map is called. I swear it starts with an A. But we used to have a track on here, a TRS track on here, and it was all right. But my goal with this track is I wanted to make another map on here, but I wanted to make a better one compared to the one that we used to run on here. The one that we used to run was called like Cedar Raceway, Cedar Hills, something like that. I think I'm going deep into the depths of the TRS lore here. I'm not 100% sure on any of this, but point is, we had that old track on here, and I just wanted to make a fresh layout on this map, one that flowed a little bit better, and one that one that flowed better, and one that was like more fun. And I think I did a decent job at it. Is this track great? No. But I think this track is pretty solid as far as like what you can do on this map, right? There's definitely some other layouts you could come up with. Don't get me wrong. Definitely some other layouts you could come up with, but again, as far as tracks on this map go, I think I did a decent job with this one. One thing that I like about this one is the split lines and the choices that you have on this track. I think that's pretty cool. Again, I always love stuff like that. And of course, the jump there, that jump takes you over the first set of drivers and puts you into the second collision. Now, there was some talk about that. Yes, I could have not included that jump and made it like the back-to-back collision. Yes, that would have been extremely cheesy. You know, if we ever race this track again, maybe I'll make a version of it like that, get rid of that jump and just go full cheese. But basically when I was testing it, I was just like, yeah, I want this track to have a good balance of like fun and the collision cheese. And with the two being like back to back, like the straight shot right there. Also, that first one being that super tight entrance where people just like can get stuck really easily. I just thought it was going to be like, I thought it was going to end up being like too annoying, like a little too annoying and not enough fun. And also the flow, I really like the way the jump flows into the terrain. It's like kind of a natural landing. And jumping over the drivers is pretty cool too. So all those things combined, all those factors, I just decided to make it like this because I thought it worked a little bit better. I thought it like rode the line of being fun and being cheesy a little bit better. I thought if I didn't include that jump, it would have been a little too far on the cheesy side and a little bit, not far enough on the fun side. So that was the decision process right there. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but interesting point in the race, Slaunch breaks the pallet. Slaunch breaks the pallet right there. That pallet jump on the inside with the arch. I didn't think that was possible, but just normally running the track, he didn't like wreck into it, just normally running the jump. On that run, he just happened to break it somehow. So now on this track, another thing that just happens to make it interesting, we got some levolution. Shout out to freaking Battlefield 4. So this is something that we used to do intentionally. Again, this was unintentional. This is something that we used to do intentionally with TRS tracks. We experimented a lot with this in MCC. And if you go into some of our old H2A TRS tracks, you can definitely see a lot of examples of this. But like particularly with the pallets and stuff like that, we used to experiment a lot with like changing map conditions and stuff like that with the pallets where eventually they would break or you could force them to break and kind of like evolve the track that way. That was something that we used to experiment with a lot, and then we kind of stopped. And it's definitely something that I'm sure in Infinite will probably have more ways to like experiment with it easier and like have it work better with the way some of the stuff in that game looks. I'm sure it's something that we'll start doing again because it'll be a little bit easier to work with, I imagine, once we get some experiments in and like figure some stuff out. But yeah, I think it's actually kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool how it worked out, how that pallet got deleted about halfway through the race, and then that just like changed the way, a lot of people started running that inside line instead of running the outside line. A lot of people were running the outside before. Now it was like a better balance. Like there's still a decent amount of people running the outside, but now it was more of a balance for sure. And, I think it was kind of cool. Even though it was, like, unintentional and that wasn't supposed to happen, I think that was, like, kind of a cool way to switch up this track and make it, a little more unique in the grand scheme of things and how these tracks worked out for the night. So, I wasn't too mad at that. I thought that was actually pretty cool. Roman and I getting racy here with some contact. That was unfortunate. I was trying to save that one. Just wasn't going to happen. Got a little too racy, I suppose. But yeah, so I think we're hitting the halfway point. I think it's 30. Let me double check. 27. All right, we're close. So 27 laps on this track, which is quite a few. So already, yeah, like at the halfway point, a little over the halfway point here. Oh, nice aggressive move, like block pass there on Turkey. And look at the pack, by the way. Again, Detail is in the lead here, and he is right there. So he's super checked out. That start was fantastic for him. He's super checked out. Definitely looking to take the overall in the night here and second moto win of the night. But for the rest of the field, the pack is freaking roaring. You got Slaunch leading it up there, Armada behind him, Roman behind him, and me behind Roman, Turkey behind me, someone behind Turkey. It's hard to tell. It might be Opix at this point. No, it's not. It might be Soul, actually. But yeah, this pack, getting stuck on Turkey, can't turn. Unfortunate there. But yeah, this pack is absolutely roaring, and things are definitely like gonna heat up. Oh, close right there. Almost got held up with Roman, but me and Turkey are gonna end up taking a spot from Roman on that one. And Slaunch, I guess things were getting pretty cheesy because Slaunch starts to gap us a bit. So I guess this pack was getting a little too cheesy, and Slaunch obviously leading it kind of helps him out. He gets away from it. But I still think things between Armada, Turkey, and I, and Roman as well are going to heat up here because we're all, pretty close on pace, and we're all going for aggressive moves, and there's only so much time left in the race. There's collisions potentially, so I think this one's going to have a pretty cool finish. So we're getting Detail just hit 9 to go, so yeah, that just goes to show the lead for him is just silly at this point. Ridiculous how big of a lead it is. Turkey cheeses that line there, hits that 2-wheel. We get by him. Roman and Turkey are going to battle behind us as well, which is what I'd like to see, because maybe that'll, get them away from us a bit and maybe try to help me catch up to Armada. Armada does get cheesed with a collision right there. I don't have the cleanest landing. Oh no, cheese the entry here again. That is tough. Oh, but then Roman cheeses that incredibly. I can't believe he overran the jump in there so hard, and then something happens to Armada there. I don't know how he cheeses there. Just I don't even know how to describe what's happening in this pack right now. Everybody is just losing it. It's the last race of the night. It's a cheesy track. Everybody's just losing their marbles. Nobody's running like completely clean. Armada a little too hard on the entry. And we're going to take the spot from him there. So now, throughout all this cheese of running in this top 5 glob, somehow, some way, we make it into the podium position. And now, Slaunch all the way up there, going to try to start tracking him down if we can. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot, but going to try to do it. And I think Soul did collision him there, so that's going to help us out quite a bit. Oh, and then Slaunch cheeses himself afterwards, so that's huge. And after all this cheese, somehow... we end up in second place after all that with 6 to go. So, you know, hoping to run clean and see if we can hold on to this second place. Going to the end of the race, detail, of course, on 6 to go. While we're going to be hitting 6 to go here in... Getting there. Right there, we hit 6 to go. So just to get a look at the gap, let's keep an eye out. And he's going to be hitting 5 to go right there. So he's like not that far away from working like the top 5 a lap down. He's like right there behind them. So again, the gap is just stupid at this point. But that kind of makes things interesting with him being so close to them. Maybe, you know, he gets racy with some blue flag situations, and maybe that helps us out a little bit. Maybe that switches up the positions for those guys back there as well. So him coming into the picture might shake things up a bit. In that top 3, top 5 battle. So we're still trying to hold on with 5 laps to go. We're still trying to hold on to this second place if possible. And I mean, you could tell just by looking at the radar, the paddle behind us, like the pack is still going. And that was something that was pretty enjoyable about this race, is that the pack racing was pretty hype, and it was cool how we had such a tight pack for these spots for such a long time. Like, it lasted pretty much the entire race. We're all pretty close and packed together. So, again, like as cheesy as this track is, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm pretty happy with how the race turned out. Again, hard to make a good, like, clean track on this map, but I think this one's pretty solid. So, I'm happy with this one. I don't think this one was too cheesy. When we loaded it up, a lot of people, you know, definitely some groans. A lot of people were like, okay, all right, this is going to be ridiculous. But honestly, I don't think it ended up being that bad. I mean, we raced frickin' Warzone. I don't think anything's going to compare to that, and I don't think this was even close to being around that track's level of cheese. So, I was happy with it. I actually think it turned up being pretty good. So Slaunch is getting pretty close behind us here at the end, so I'm trying to like not cheese myself too hard, like right there, almost reckoned. I think Slaunch like was sending it behind us, kind of cheesed himself there. Probably wasn't expecting me to almost flip it in front, but I'm just trying to manage it. You know, I'm just trying to not die here, and hopefully, if that's the case, you know, as long as I don't like wreck, should be able to hold on to second place here. Details already on the white flag, coming to the end here, and you know, trying to take this corner cleanly one more time. Tricky part of the track because you pop that 2-wheel, you go too hard, you might crash out, so you got to be careful in that one. As we take the white flag for us, going through figure 8 area one more time and getting into the collision zone, and Detail goes across the line into a collision for us, and then Slaunch makes the move. Super unfortunate on that one, but that's gonna take away second place for us. Slaunch gets into second, and not a whole lot of time to work this. I can try to send it, but it's gonna be, unless Slaunch like just flips on this jump, not gonna happen. Would have needed a couple more laps to work that one down. So Detail ends up taking the win on this one. Slaunch taking home second place. End up taking third, and let's take a look at the rest of the results. Armada actually does come home in 4th, Roman 5th, Turkey 6th in this one, Opix 7th, and Soul 8th. So overall in the night, Detail does take the overall 59 points. I take second 55, Roman third 54, Turkey 4th 51, Armada 5th 49, Slaunch 6th 48, Opix 7th 46, and Soul 8th 42. That might be the tightest point spread from like first to last on a night. So this night was very unpredictable and very cheesy because again, I'd have to double check it, but I think that might be the tightest point spread from top to bottom that we've had for an overall. So really enjoyed that. Like the competition aspect of the night was pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoyed this whole TRS event, and I'll see you in the next week.